So welcome back to the Iron Sights Podcast After Dark. Here with two of my boys. Here with Jeff, who everybody knows.
Hey.
Jeff's been on several of our episodes talking fitness, firearms, all kinds of stuff. Welcome back, Jeff.
Thank you.
Special guest today, our other boy, who actually I wouldn't know Kyle. I wouldn't know you, Kyle, if it wasn't for Jeff, because Jeff was training with you for a good part of 2020 and into 21 there. When I finally got connected with you, I got Kyle Manzano from Manzano Tactical. And Kyle, welcome to the show, my man.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Appreciate being here.
It's good to finally have you in here. Huge part of the Northern California community, firearms community. You're an instructor, and I'd be hard pressed to know anybody in the South Bay area, but as we start working up the peninsula and even into the Northeast Bay, that doesn't know who you are and know who Manzano Tactical is.
For good and bad.
Yeah. Yeah, you take that for what it's worth.
Yeah, exactly. Any publicity is good publicity.
But you've also been doing quite a bit of work with a lot of instructors all over the state and the country for that matter. A lot of people know who you are and what you're contributing from a content perspective on social media, which is, as long as I've known you, it's always trying to provide value. And some of the stuff they're seeing lately is really based around, this is the stuff I really appreciate from you. It's really revolved around the basics, but taking those to the next level and making people aware of things that they should be aware of, but also giving them some really practical advice on how to practice those on their own, both on the range and off the range, which is super important. I mean, it's one thing to get on there and see somebody shooting really fast and be really skilled and look cool, but it's another thing to be able to, for those people that don't have access to the range or the things that you may have access to, hey, how can I get better at home on my own without an instructor? Like irrespective of where I am in the world, I can still gain value from Kyle. And I think that's what you're doing a really great job of, man.
That's what I'm trying to do, man. Like at every course, I tell people I want you to get your money's worth. Like you're spending your day, you're spending your time, you're spending X, Y, and Z to be out here today. I really want you guys to feel like you got not just what you paid for, but way more. So
I always feel like that when I'm out there with you, man, and I know other people do, and I've watched the business grow significantly. But one of the other things that I really appreciate about you, and that's a lot of it based around the premise of what we're doing here on the Iron Sights Podcast, which is why it's so great to have you, is the importance of sort of the community building piece, and you're very good at reaching out and developing those relationships much better than I've ever been, particularly again like through the social media platform.
Very good community builder.
Yeah,
for sure.
Man. I mean, he's
like
just pulling people in, companies in
Yeah.
From all over the place, and I'm always interested to hear the projects you're working on and the things that you're doing. I mean, what's exciting in the world of Manzano Tactical right now? What can you tell us?
So in recent development, we just got asked to teach at Atlanta Range Day. So that was cool. Last year they used our targets exclusively, so that was awesome. I really appreciate that. But they actually want us to come out and teach this year.
When is it?
The end of May 2023.
Okay, so it's before it gets too damn hot.
I don't know. It's in Georgia. I feel like it's
always sticky out there.
Dude, that's different kind of hot there, man.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of hot, but that is awesome. I mean, you're talking complete right coast now. Going from one side to the other. That's amazing. You've been out to a lot of the other range days too. That's fun. One of the things that I see all over the place right now is your targets. And talk about the targets and some of the things that come along with the targets. Cause I think again, this is one of those ways people can get so much from what you're providing. And aside from purchasing the targets, the rest of the shit's free.
Yeah. I try to give as much free stuff as possible, either information or knowledge through social media, or on our website, we have targets you can print out, A-zone head boxes, just stuff like that. But my target is something that I personally wanted, and it just kind of took off from there. So I realized during my trainings that I would be putting up a target for this and that drill, and then I put up another target for this separate drill, and then I put up another target for the separate drill. And I was like, dude, I just need to figure out, like, how do I put all of these drills onto one target?
Mm-hmm.
And my YouTube is basically just all the different drills I found through generic measures like A-zone boxes, A-zone head boxes, B8 targets, and then just formulating all those drills, putting them together, and then throwing them up on the YouTube. So that's all that the target is. It's just very commonly used measurements within the industry on one piece of paper.
Yeah, there's there's value in that because I've been out on the range. I'm like, damn, it seems like we always have the stapler in our hand when we were out there previously. And so it saves time. So that brings value to the people that are attending the classes, that they're not constantly doing that. We're breaking to jam mags, get some water, right? Maybe a little food, and we're coming right back. And you get to do the same, right? Rather than constantly having to change things out. And for people listening, like, okay, dude, that's cool. Everybody's trying to do their own targets now. But you've done more than that. Like, I see those things everywhere now on social media. And some of the drills are, like you said, they're standardized drills so that you can measure against other people, which I think is really smart. There's a large amount of tutorial instruction or stuff that you demo everything, and you can see that. But then there's also the challenge stuff that you're doing too, which is kind of where it started. I mean, that's kind of what made it popular in my mind. The challenge, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, the challenge blew up way bigger than I ever expected it to. So to go back, like when I first started, I was following these guys, Primal Response Training Group down in Escondido, California.
Yeah, I love those dudes.
They're super cool dudes, very knowledgeable guys. It's two guys, Wayne and Jesse at Escondido PD. And they started their own training group, and they had these targets that Action Target makes for them. And I hit them up one day. I was like, I want to buy your targets. Like, these look awesome. Where do I get these? And they said, go to Action Target, blah, blah, blah. I went on there, couldn't find them. So they just sent me a bunch. Okay. And I was like, dude, I'm like really appreciative of this. I want to thank you guys some way. So the MT drill, where it's 5 on the left box, 5 on the right box, reload, 2 on the right and 2 on the left, is their target. Like, if you look at their target, it's laid out that way.
Okay, so hold on, time out. So for the people that don't know what your target looks like, just real quick, what you're describing is you've got 2 C-zone, two A-zone boxes next to one another. What's the distance between the 2 in the middle?
It's like an inch.
Okay, so they're right on top of one another.
Just to be able to fit them on the paper. Yeah.
Right, and then above both of those, you have 2 credit card A-zone, like ocular cavity boxes.
What is it, 2 by?
USPSA head boxes, which is 2 inches by 4 inches.
Which are about an inch above.
That. And then an inch above that is the exact same thing. It's the 2 A-zone.
So you got everything on one target. So anyway, just so for people that don't know, you can find them obviously on Instagram. We'll put out that stuff later, but yeah, you can see this box. So that's what the target looks like. And so then, all right, then what happened after that?
So I wanted to say, like, I wanted to do a drill based off of their target as like a thank you to these guys. So we ended up doing that. It was 7 yards from the holster, 5 rounds in the left box, 5 rounds in the right box, reload, 2 in the head box to the right, 2 in the head box to the left. And it was just a little bit of everything. It's one of those drills where fundamentally everything needs to be solid. If you're not good with grip, if you're not good with throttle control, if you're not good with holster, if you're not good with reload, if there's something of one of those factors that you're not good at, it's going to show in the drill.
Oh, you're getting exposed right now, and it's the most frustrating thing ever. I'll tell you that, man. I don't know how many rounds I've put on that and through that drill trying to get it right and been so close and recognized that it was just being off with the reload that much. Because sinking all of them inside, right, and making them those hits count is one thing, right? But obviously all those other things that you just mentioned have to come together. And when you're finished at this thing and you've come in under time and you look and you got one out, or you got one that's like on the line, you're like, damn it, we can't count that, or whatever. And you know exactly when and where that happened while you were going through that drill, and not being able to go back and just change it like that. I mean, it takes a lot of repetitions. It's a fun drill. And you see people like,
it's fun because there's not many like rapid fire drills per se. There's a lot of very like precise drills, which is awesome. Like I struggle in that because we do so much rapid fire that like the very fine tuned pinpointed drills, like the 777 from tier 1, where it's like 1 inch circle at 7 yards, 2 inch circle at 7 yards, like that kind of shit. I'm like, dude, this is hard.
You know, here's the other thing I'll say before we kind of move on from the drill. And that is that one of the things that's unique about that drill, that challenge, is that I see a lot of people posting their failures. Yes. And you do not see a lot of people posting failure of any kind in this space. Now, it's not to say it doesn't happen, but particularly in these coin challenges that you're doing, because there's a coin that people can earn if they pass the challenge. They have to document it, right? They have to have a measuring tape on the ground. Like, it got to that. And actually, I don't think that was you that was doing it. It was the rest of the people. It was the community that was policing that. Like, hey man, like you got to have a tape out. We got to see that. But my point being is that a lot of people post their failures, like what I just mentioned, like how close they got without quite getting it, which I think is unique.
What coin are you on? What number are you on right now?
It's either 49 or 50.
That's fantastic. And that's only that's like in a year. It's less than a year, man.
I want to say it's been 2 years, but we have like 3 international coins.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Which has been awesome. So yeah, Switzerland, Canada, and Germany.
It's really been that long.
Davenport, we were doing it.
Dude, you're right. We were out there.
Yeah.
But Davenport was only 2021.
Yeah, but
that was last year.
Wow. It just, time, COVID messed me up.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a time work, but
I just know because I've been missing that drill for a long time.
I think that's an interesting part. So one of the other things about that is for people listening, if they really want to challenge, like it's one thing to come off the hip from outside the waistband, off a belt, but coming from people are passing this thing from inside the waistband, which for me is very impressive.
They were doing the 7.714 right from the waist, or 7.7 right from the waistband.
Yeah. So the 777 from tier 1 has to be from
inside the WB. Yeah.
But Hunter Constantine, he still has the fastest MT coin time, sub 6 seconds from AIWB.
I'm not surprised that dude's
Hunter is
he's a freak.
Monster.
Yeah, he's a freak. So there's some great stuff happening with what you're doing out there. Classes seem to always be full. There's always a few a week. I know you're taking a little bit of downtime next month to get in some of your own training, do some traveling and stuff like that. I'll be there. I'll see you out there on the ranges and stuff. So you're always a guy that's pushing the envelope, encouraging other people to do the same, taking courses from other instructors, which as a coach that's been in a different industry for a very long time and is now spent a lot of time in this one, I don't think you could ever place enough value on that, going and constantly learning, humbling yourself, but also coming at it from both the coach and the participants' perspective, and bringing back the best of what you've learned and practicing it yourself, and then being able to implement it into your own fundamentals training and progressive training.
Yeah, there's a lot of people teaching the same stuff, right? Because it's hard to there's only so many ways you can say, pull the trigger without moving the gun.
Right. Yeah.
So, there's a lot of people teaching the same shit, but it's the way that they're delivering the message, right? And just being able to hear the different ways that they're delivering the message, the different drills that they have set up to kind of showcase whatever it is that they're trying to show. It's really cool. And I just love shooting. So I love the trigger time. And it's much different going to a class as a student than putting a class on as an instructor.
Sure.
In regards to what I have to bring, how much I get to shoot, all that stuff. So.
No doubt Jeff and I can relate to that from like the training perspective of just being able to kind of sit back and be in your own world rather than having to worry about what everybody else is doing out there. And again, digest and assimilate the little pieces, and then be able to walk away and reflect with it, or reflect on it, so that you can make the most out of that to immediately impact the clients that you're in front of on a regular basis. And that's always the goal. Like, how can I provide more value based on, from the value that I just extracted from this situation. So